Personal Story segment tonight. It is just a matter of time before NPR becomes defunded. There's simply no question the radio network should stand on its own in the private marketplace. That issue was debated last weekend by Charles Krauthammer and NPR reporter Nina Totenberg.
If the product is so superior, why does it have to live on the tit of the state? The tone with which you defend it is exactly reflective of what we heard in that, this kind of liberal arrogance.
It has nothing to do with it. It has money. It has to do with spending money.
We give you good news. Well, then spend your own money.
Yeah, spend your own money. Joining us now from Washington is Mr. Krauthammer. Same argument about Planned Parenthood. You say it's so good, Nina Totenberg? Go ahead, raise a fund for it. Have Soros fund it. You know, I mean, I don't get any of this, Charles. So you're going to have to bring me inside the mind of Nina Totenberg and her ilk, all right? 14 trillion, you know them. You've been on that panel for like 75 years, all right?
I may be on the panel for 75 years. I may be a psychiatrist, but that's an impenetrable fortress.
No, it can't be. There's got to be a reason why liberal Democrats don't want to cut anything in the face of Armageddon.
I think when it comes to things like NPR, there is this inherent arrogance that they are the ones who see the true world the way it is. You know, there's this axiom I have that conservatives think that liberals are dumb, sweet, naive, and dumb, but liberals think that conservatives are evil. That's the difference between how they look at each other. And they think that conservatives, Fox News, whatever, Wall Street Journal editorial page, see the world as agents of the greedy, you know, the Wall Streeters and people who care only about the bottom line. This is this self-righteousness, and that's why they say, we give you on NPR an incomparable product, and therefore it should be subsidized. The principle I believe in, that government shouldn't be in the news business at all. There are countries in which it is, Cuba, Zimbabwe, where we have a Ministry of Information. Well, NPR is a Ministry of Information for the polite academic left in America, and they are entitled to have any propaganda arm they want, but they shouldn't ask for a subsidy. There's no reason why a steel worker in Pittsburgh should be, with his taxes, subsidizing the salaries of the various shillers who used to inhabit the upper echelons of the executive suites of NPR and who make a lot more than your average steel worker in Pittsburgh or anywhere else. You know, liberals believe in redistribution of income. Well, this is doing that in reverse from ordinary Americans to a pompous, arrogant, liberal elite.
But the question that Nina Totenberg can never answer, should she have the temerity to come on here on The Factor, is, if you're so good, madam, if you're so smart, and the information that you are putting out, you and NPR, you can compete in the marketplace. You can get on, you got your little Channel 13 here in New York, you got your, you know, PBS station, you got your radio stations. You can sell ad time. You can compete because you're so good and you're better. So Americans, they always go to the best place. What's the beef? Go private. Go private.
And you know, and that's what makes them so enraged and irrational about Fox. Because Fox, with its incredible success, has shown that there was a hunger in the country for this kind of a different way to look at the news from the wall-to-wall liberalism of the major newspapers, the major networks, the major news magazines, and all of a sudden one product emerges in the world that offers an alternative, and there's a rush to it. You know, I like to say that Rupert Murdoch had such success with his genius was that he discovered a niche in broadcasting half the American people. And that's the success of, and that's why liberals always want to find a way to shut it down, to shout it down, or talk radio as well with the fairness doctrine on these one or two or three isolated outlets for another perspective on the world. They can't stand what it says about America and the marketplace, and they want to shut it down one way or the other.
Yeah, but I mean, look, and then you can extend this out. Nina Totenberg and her liberal allies, they don't want to cut anything. If you look at what has been proposed by the Democratic Party to cut, to just get a balanced budget, not a balanced budget, but just get a new budget that's going to be $1 trillion deficit.
Right.
They don't want to cut anything. Zero. They want to keep it the way it is. And I'm saying to myself, can they not read Can they not see the financial Armageddon of owing more than $14 trillion with the Chinese controlling about $1.5 trillion of that debt? And the answer is no, they can't, or they don't want to, or whatever.
And I would say, can't they read the report of the Deficit Commission with a co-chair who is a Democrat, the former chief of staff of Bill Clinton, appointed by Barack Obama, which said exactly that. We're headed over a cliff. The era of debt denial is over, and yet here they are, from the president on down. Starts with the budget he submitted, starts with the State of the Union, a complete denial of the deficit, and a complete dismissal of any serious attempt to do something about it. It is an abdication of leadership which is truly astonishing, given the amount of debt that we have, and given what his own commission had said to him and the country only 3 months ago.
You know, I think that, I don't know whether you heard Karl Rove at the top of the broadcast, but he was talking about the leadership factor as far as Libya and Japan are concerned. Yeah. And now the leadership factor here, I think in the next election, leadership is really what it's going to come down to, whether the American people believe they're being served now under President Obama by a strong leader, or the Republicans can say, look, we're going to lead in a much better way. We'll see. Charles, thanks very much.